In this video we're going to look at laws 5 to 7 of indices. Before we do that, I just want to talk to you about a little bit about notation of roots. So we all know that the square root, we all know that the square root of 4 gives us an answer of 2. Well, technically it could be plus 2 or it could be minus 2, because we know that plus 2 times plus 2 gives us 4. But also minus 2 times minus 2 gives us 4. So there's actually two answers to this, plus 2 or minus 2. So we know that when we see a square root sign, it's basically asking you what number multiplied by itself would give you this answer, this number 4. But there's another way that we could write that we don't. We could write a little 2 here, saying what number to the power of 2 gives us 4. So 2 to the power of 2 gives us 4. And minus 2 to the power of 2 gives us 4. Now we don't bother writing that little 2 there, but we could. But for other numbers we generally do. For example, let's say we had the cubed root of 8. What that means is when you see this little 3 here, it means what number multiplied by itself 3 times gives us 8. And if you type that into your calculator, which I've shown you before, you'll get an answer of 2 as well. Because 2 times 2 times 2 gives us 8. Or 2 to the power of 3 gives us 8. Another example, we could have any number here. We could have 64. What's the sixth root of 64? Which means what number multiplied by itself 6 times gives you 64. And again, in this case, the answer is 2, because 2 to the power of 6 gives us 64. So there's a general rule here. And this is called the Q root, basically, in that if you have any number A and a cubed sign above it and a number Q here, your answer, or this, I should say, is called the cubed root of A. And we've seen this before, so make sure you can check on your calculator that you're able to do those couple of examples I did, because I'll give you a couple more for homework. Can you find out how to do this sum on the calculator and this sum on the calculator? It's going to be a shift button, so it'll be the square root sign and then the shift button above it. So let's move on to the 3 laws that we're going to do today. First law is law 5. Law 5 is any number A to the power minus P is the same as 1 over A to the power of P. So an example of that would be you could have 4 to the power minus 1. Now because there's a minus in front of the index here in front of the power, that means that that's the same as 1 over 4. So you just need to learn this rule. You could have 4 to the power minus 2, which would be 1 over, there's a minus, so it's 1 over 4 to the power of 2, which would be 1 over 16. So it's just something you need to remember, and I'll give you some practice questions now for you to try. Law 6 is any number A to the power of 1 over Q is equal to the Q root of that number A. So this relates to what we were talking about just at the start of the video. An example of this would be, let's say you had 27 to the power of 1 over 3. Now you can type that into your calculator as it is and you'll get an answer. But you also need to recognize that that's the same as the third root of 27, which if you type into your calculator is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 gives us 27. So that's law 6. And the last law we're going to do today, law 7, is any number A to the power of P over Q is equal to, and this one's a tricky one, so the denominator, the Q, means it's the Q root of A, but also all of your answer then is to the power of P. And there's another way you can write that. You can also write that like this, same thing, so either way. But usually you're using this first one here. So I'll do 2 examples for this one because this one's quite tricky. So let's say you have 32 to the power of 4 over 5. Well, that's the same as a root of 32. Look at the denominator and the fraction, so it's the 5th root of 32 all to the power of 4. 5th root of 32, if you just type that into your calculator, gives you an answer of 2. So it's 2 to the power 4, which is 16. Another example, let's say we have 81 to the power of 5 over 4. That's a root of 81. It's a root, the fourth root of 81, because we have a 4 here on the bottom of this fraction. And then all of that is to the power of 5. Type the fourth root of 81 into your calculator and you'll get 3. 3 all to the power of 5, so 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 gives you 243. So that's your answer. So I'm just going to give you some practice questions today, getting used to those 3 rules. And as always, let me know in the comments or chat me or message me if you have any problems with any of the questions and I can help you with them.